good looking.
You. Yes, you. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is pretty special to me. It's about my top 5 favorite episodes in PJ Masks. After this video, I have no ideas for content. Please suggest some down in the comments. I'll appreciate it a lot. Anyways, let's get into the video. First honorable mention being Catboy and the Shrinker. If you are uncomfortable with ships being discussed, please skip to this timestamp. Alright, for the people who are still here, I'll give my explanation. That episode was the OG Roman Ninja episode. I also believe it was the first villain team-up episode, bringing a new plot and more possibilities for the show. I really liked seeing Romeo and Night Ninja interact, and before then, I never would have thought that they could make such a great pairing. Their bickering honestly carried the episode, in my opinion. Heck, even if you don't ship them, I think their friendship is so fun to watch. Their bodyguard and protected or nerd dynamic, or so many other dynamics they fall into, is once again so interesting to watch. I will never shut up about the fact Romeo designed the Shrinker to fit to people when he could easily make it into a A to B, used by one person later in a short.
Retreat! See you around, Romeo.
That scene honestly never fails to amaze me. The fact that he specifically chose Night Ninja of all people to be that second person shows just how close they were before the show even started. The fact that they both work and appear together in future episodes makes me happy this duo gets recognized. On to the next honorable mention. It's not exactly an episode, more like a whole season. That season being season 4. It has so many good episodes, some of which appear later in this list, so watch out for them. Heroes of the Sky is regarded by many as one of the best episodes of the show, and I can see where they are coming from. It's such an amazing season opener and sets the standard for the rest of the season. It also introduced some cool characters like Monkey Goo, Octobilla, and Newton Star. Also, Bubbles of Badness, in my opinion, is a great season finale. I can't say much here because I don't really want to spoil the rest of this list. Another honorable mention, I swear this is the last one, I promise, is the PJ Masks Save Christmas. I actually didn't quite like this episode for some reason when I first watched it, but after a few rewatches I grew to love it. However, including it in this list is a very last-minute addition. I didn't plan for this to be in this script until I started editing the video, but come on, I love the Christmas holiday season, so a Romeo-centered one is bound to be on here, even if it didn't make it into my top 5. This episode is literally the plot of Gecko Saves Christmas, but instead of Luna being the villain, it's Romeo. And Santa's here too, I guess. It's a classic I won't get any presents so I'll ruin Christmas for everyone plot, but man, here it works so well. Mostly because it fits Romeo's character. The bond between Romeo and Robot is so sweet and cute here, and a Romeo apology before GT6.
Save Christmas.
Sorry? Nonsense! I'm the one who should be sorry, Robot. What?
I think the nice beam must have zapped him by mistake.
Absolutely insane. Also, more Robot content. All 3 Robot fans, including me, cheer. This episode shows how special bonds can mean to someone, and the way the writers got that message across with Robot's gift is so wholesome. Okay, I'll finally get to the top 5 list. Number 5, Flying Factory Out of Control. Yes, the very episode playing in the background. Now, I know that the moral here in this episode is absolutely horrendous. That moral being trust everyone, even if they have done multiple things wrong to you and have shown that they cannot be trusted and that they don't want to change from what they have done in the past. I hate that moral too. It's a terrible lesson, especially for children who are pretty gullible. But the reason I placed this episode so high is because of this.
Party settings. Then I came down here to make you a cake. Happy birthday, Master. I put it in the oven earlier.
Wait, it's your birthday?
Don't worry, no one celebrates it. Well, until now. Sorry, Robot.
Yeah, wow. This is quite the dark implication. Like he literally has no one, like not even his parents. Either they're dead or neglectful of. Until now, meaning no one has celebrated it for long enough that Romeo can remember. Concerning, there's this whole uncanny thing that happens, at least for me during this episode, that feels so weird. Romeo could have easily boasted about the fact that it's his birthday and used it to take advantage of the situation for worse. The best he does is say that today is a special day but doesn't push for some reason. I don't know why, but rewatching it makes me feel weird realizing that each time. It, to me at least, honestly feels kinda out of character, especially for someone like him. You know, the same person who wanted to put his face on all books and even on the moon. A friend told me it's probably a trauma response of some sort, which I can see the vision. To be honest, to be frank, that combined with the scene from earlier makes for some good angst potential. Fun fact that this is the episode that got me into PJ Masks again. I stopped keeping up with the show in my childhood and it got me hooked into the potential of this show. I debated on putting this episode higher up, but I found out about other episodes which I considered better than this one. However, this is still quite the solid episode. Alright, on to the next episode. Number 4, Nobody's Sidekick. This episode was a blast to watch. Never in my life would I have expected a Romeo and Armadillo team up, but it was so needed. Their interactions are so fun and surprisingly, they work as a duo. There were also quite a lot of interactions between Romeo and Robot, which I'm always down for since I love their father and son dynamic so much. I chose this episode out of all the other episodes, mainly because of how straightforward it is with its plot and message, being don't trust everyone, literally the opposite of the last episode LOL. The moral was so well done and it shows that you indeed can have friends who care for you like how Robot cares for Romeo. You just have to be keen on who are real friends and who are just using you. Now, on to the next episode. Number 3, Lost in Space. This episode is quite the interesting concept. Once again, Romeo suffers at the hands of the PJ Masks and gets stranded in space. Think about it. If it wasn't for PJ Robot, Romeo would have been long gone by now. I like to think that the bond both of them shared in PJ Robot versus Romeo had a play here. Speaking of robots, Mabel is an interesting character. She makes Romeo absolutely terrified of her, and I do wonder what did she even do to him to make him that scared of her. I thought she would play a part in Romeo Vision, but unfortunately she was axed from the show after this episode. This episode reminds me of the Robot Blizzard book where Romeo suffers at the hand of the PJ Masks and he has no other choice but to work with them in order to save everyone and himself. I know Romeo is the main villain, so it's very nice and wholesome to watch his saving the day episodes. This episode really has high stakes which give an incentive for Romeo to help them. Also, there's this one part where he sounds like he's on the verge of tears. To me at least, the voice actor did such a phenomenal job.
The day I need help from the Pajama Kids will be the day I hang up my scientist coat.
Someone pointed out how Romeo in almost all of season 4 sounds like he's about to cry, and I can somewhat agree now that I think about it. Oh my days, Romeo in this episode and this episode in general is so well written. Number 2, PJ Robot versus Romeo. Now I had a difficult time ranking between this and number 1, but I have finalized my reasons. Firstly, the moral is good in my opinion. The moral being that it's okay to be angry, but there are other non-violent ways to deal with it, which is a great moral, but the execution is far from great. That moral didn't even apply to the resolution of the episode, which was PJ Robot and Romeo working together, and didn't really tackle the ways in which you can safely express anger. It instead just said work with the people you hate, which yes might eventually do, but this whole thing rubs me the wrong way. But the reason this episode is so high up is because of the fact that we get more PJ Robot and Romeo content. Yes, this is yet another Romeo Saves the Day episode, because like I said, it's a refreshing change. We got a really good plot given the show's typical format. PJ Robot has a really good reason to be mad actually, but I'm glad he at least got to talk it with Romeo. Speaking of the therapy session, that scene is another why I love this episode so much. The line about Romeo saying how it hurt seeing PJ Robot chose the PJ Masks over him actually made me feel bad for him. Of course, PJ Robot has a very good reason to do that, given he doesn't want to be controlled especially by someone like Romeo. But man, it still hurts every time I rewatch that episode since both sides have a point. It further confirms the implication that Romeo's robots are the only things that keep him company, and hinting at Romeo having abandonment issues. Like that one clip where Romeo says, "You're all I have left, robot." Trust me, that clips exists. I just don't have it at the moment. Here, Romeo is genuinely unsure if he could fix the factory on his own, so he has to work with PJ Robot, leading to that one scene where Romeo accidentally calls PJ Robot by the name he wants to be called, and it implies that Romeo calls PJ Robot that name in his mind, at least for that episode. It shows Romeo's humanity and I love it. This episode and the #1 episode on this list inspired me to write the Romeo character analysis on my community tab. That's how much I adore Romeo. Also, Romeo's little drawing in this episode is so cute. Alright, on to my favorite episode of PJ Masks, Romeo Vision. Now, I don't normally rewatch most episodes coming from season 6, but this is one of the exceptions. Aside with my nitpicks with the voice acting here, this is a very solid episode. The implication that Romeo wanted to trap Night Ninja along with the power heroes in his TV is pretty funny. It's tying back to the whole Romeo must have given NNA tour of his factory at some point implication, and I love it. Like in this episode, Romeo had a whole drawing made for Night Ninja, which was essential to his plan because he knew he could lure in and because he broke in before, and he also had a whole pirate channel made, which might be a callback to their accidental love child pirate robot, but take the latter with a grain of salt. Moving on, I love how Gecko and you weren't that concerned with getting out, or at least they were kinda chill with it, and they wanted to tease Romeo while they could, and I love that scene. I bet that was definitely Gecko's idea. We know how Romeo is with bullying targeted towards him, at least I hope you do. If not, he's been bullied in the books for multiple reasons, being his bad English grades, his hair, and his constant failures. Here, he doesn't like people laughing at him, and even goes as far as to get inside the TV, the invention he used to trap everyone in the first place with no plans on how to leave. That decision was made out of pure influence. I also like how this episode notices the small details, like how Night Ninja hiding in the base channel was important to the plot, and the things found in the channels are also important, as they help them escape. Speaking of that, the fact that Romeo was able to craft a remote to escape in literal seconds, and it even works. This child is not lying when he says he is a genius. He even saves the day, which makes me happy seeing him do this once in a while. This plot point doesn't even feel forced, and I love it. I know he created the problem, but let me be happy for once. The morals here are pretty good. The morals here being, don't make fun of others and be resourceful with what you have. However, I wish these morals were incorporated more into the episode instead of shoved at the end. But the execution was pretty good to surprisingly. The part where Romeo actually agrees that he shouldn't laugh when he makes fun of them gets me every time. I full well know he's fully aware that bullying is a terrible thing, but he chooses to say that instead of voicing the serious thoughts, which seems so in character for him. I love this casual self-awareness since it shows proof that he's maturing along with everyone else. And once again, I can't help but say I love it. He even acknowledged their help instead of brushing them off on my days. Okay, that's all of my favorite PJ Masks episodes. Notice how there isn't a season 5 episode here, and notice how this is all Romeo alone. I hope you enjoyed this video. And once again, please leave your suggestions for video ideas down in the comments. Thanks. PJ Rama signing out.